And I don't want it to sound like too English speaking, foreign educated, you living in the Bay Area, that we're shitting on India in whatever capacity. I feel like now that India is over $2,500 GDP per person, these are the exact next steps. Don't get me wrong, this is not a future process. If you talk to anybody who's working in Bangalore in any startup, and I mean the CXO types, the guys who are looking at the future, they'll all tell you that the bureaucratic hassle is insane. And I spent one very interesting month working in a capacity, I cannot talk on the camera, but one very interesting month working in let's say a semi-bureaucratic capacity, right, in Punjab. And so I went from office to office, all the lower level offices that common people deal with, tehsils, hospitals, schools, government, all government, and I tried to run a survey, figuring out what makes these systems efficient versus inefficient. And I came out thinking that there is a large trust problem between the individual and the institution. The institution does not trust the individual. The individual tries to cheat the institution because it already feels like the institution is overbearing. You bring 5 licenses. I will bring 3, but I will get 2 fake licenses. So now the institution is like, ye to 2 fake license la, agli bar 7 license lana. And that creates this sort of self-fulfilling trap. It's almost like, the harder you pull, like a straight jacket, the harder you pull, the tighter it gets.
I have a simpler explanation.
Please do. I'm sorry, I'm more complicated.
The simple explanation is India is still operating on a zero-sum game mentality.
Talk to me more about it.
Subconsciously, we don't want to see other Indians succeed. We want to pull them down because we think subconsciously that if somebody succeeds, it is at our expense.
As far as reputation is concerned, the difference becomes clear. So it is at my expense. If you become more successful, it is at my expense because I look smaller in front of you.
That's right.
So that part at least holds true. But
I'm saying another way, if we can just change the thinking of every individual in India to think that if you succeed, I also succeed because you are lifting all, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe I can learn from you. There is another way. So it is fundamental to socialism versus capitalism. A capitalist way of thinking is let us each help each other, make wealth, money.
Find opportunities that make everybody money.
And the entire IP industry actually helps each other. There is no competition between Microsoft and Google. They are all trying to produce the best.
Really?
Yes.
They're not competing internally?
No, they're not. That's the outside view. Internally, that is why you see all of AI, all the advantage, the Llama 2, 3, 4, whatever, everything is in open source. What does that tell you? They're putting out IP because they're saying the whole open source movement is let everybody benefit from this idea factory. And that is the difference between what happens in America and what happens in India. I'll distill it down to a simpler. Over here, the standard answer given to any kid who wants to do anything different is no.
Right.
Not yes. For example, my social media team accompanied me to an event, and there was a stairway that was shut off for the event. And they wanted to shoot me climbing up the stairs. We went to the guy, the security guy. No, not allowed. I'm thinking, if that same scene had been in America, the security guy would have said, "What angle are you looking at? Let me help you with is that your vision? Or let me open this and help you stand here and take it this way." Everybody is just there to help each other. It makes them happy. There is no such thing as hard and fast rule that's just closed for the event, right? Because they don't want to have people go down there and fall and break a leg. They want everyone to take an elevator. But you want to do something creative, let me help you. That simple idea of helping each other. When I play a round of golf in the US, I know all 4 golfers are trying to help each other, complimenting each other. Great shot. I hope you make that putt. One of us makes a birdie. That we all win. We all feel good. Over here, the other golfers are like, I hope he doesn't make that putt. I hope he doesn't make that putt. That's the wrong way of subconsciously thinking.
It's scarcity mindset. Yeah.
Zero-sum game. I'm saying, really, if we just change this aspect, just this way of thinking, let me help each other, India will be a superpower in 5 years.
No, you have a very, very solid point. As a matter of fact, if I were to offer psychological advice to, and I have a lot of young guys that listen to me, right? I tell them all the time, listen, operate from an abundance mindset. Operate from the place that you have everything and whatever you need is coming your way. Because the minute you start operating from a scarce mindset, the thoughts that enter your head are not nice. Then you're thinking something ill happens to the other person. You feel like there is only so much. And I understand. I also feel like people underestimate the exposure to abject poverty and brutal instances of injustice that Indians are subject to. Every time you stop your car at a red light and you see those traffic kids beg you for money, it reminds you of how bad things can be. It's a passive shock to the back of your head, to your amygdala, that things can be very bad. And I feel like that contributes to this zero-sum mentality, or for that matter, the scarcity mentality.
We are still stuck in a feudal mindset. We are still not too much different than what happens in Afghanistan or in Saudi Arabia or other parts. We are stuck. We call ourselves a democracy, but our thinking is limited to like village mentality. Punish some guy for looking at a girl. Come on, that's natural.
Right.
We are curbing humans' natural instincts.
Right.
And not developing. And we are focusing on the wrong thing.
Right.
We are teaching our kids it's okay to lie. But looking at a girl is really bad.
Right.
It's really
Right. Like what is really happening at that
It's
moment?
really the opposite. Lying is the biggest problem in our country. People are living a lie.
It's a very dishonest life.
It's a dishonest life.
Right. And it's abundant. It's abundant. If you look around, it's abundant.
AQI, we will not publish more than 500 because that will make us look bad.
Yeah, right.
You're
Can you
lying.
imagine? Yeah.
What is the real GDP? God alone knows, because let's lie. Lying is okay. Lying is a crime in America.
At least on that level, on the level of institution.
Fudging books, doing things,
Right.
paying bribes. That's exactly what has come to bear with over here. And if you don't, and as long as you don't get caught, it's okay. That's the wrong mindset. We haven't developed our conscience.
Right.
We have to have a society where we enable people to develop their conscience, because ultimately truth wins. I mean, these are the original principles of our Vedas and stuff, and we're ignoring them.
Exactly. For a society that is as civilizationally deep as we are, I think the rest of the world, when it comes to culture, is a grade school student. India is a university level course when it comes to at least understanding the nature of the mind and life. And yet still, when the discourse happens about it, I often say people, when they talk about the civilization of India, they'll talk about the past and would completely blindside themselves to the present. It's not really the same worlds at all. What used to be in people's minds and what they ignore is completely not the same. But you know what? I don't want this to be very discouraging. I think there's a fair amount of criticism that's very useful, because somebody has to bring in the vision that will slowly begin to transform the minds of people. That's my job in some way, to provide a platform for that. But take it one step further. Tell me what is good about India, the Indian markets, or for that matter, the Indian people, as far as entrepreneurship, innovation, or in your experience in general.
The greatest asset in India are Gen Zs. They have a mind of their own. We can't change the minds of people.
Older people.
They're done.
That's calcified.
Once your mind is made up and you think of your view of the world, of what is right, what is wrong, like we mentioned, lying, no lying,
right.
Obfuscating, frauding, defrauding people, that's over. We can't change that.
Right.
The Gen Zs are the future. They are the greatest asset we have. And so what is really great is, and everybody's interested in entrepreneurship, if we can change their mindsets and start giving them problems to solve, and real critical problems to solve, along with funding, these kids will transform the future. So that is the opportunity. Now, of course, you've asked me a very complex question where the entire ecosystem has to buy into this, which means the entire venture capital ecosystem has to buy into this as well. To say, we will fund great ideas that have an impact and that will change the world. We don't want to fund ideas where we can just get an exit in 3 years or 4 years. If that's the mindset, then we will just continue in a piecemeal kind of fashion.
Yeah. Cheap bets.
If we really want to change, for example, the bets that, when Sequoia invested in Google, they're like, we had no idea. There were 26 search engines, and some VC firms passed on Google as well because they said there are 26. What are you going to do? Google said, we're going to solve it algorithmically, which is today being done by hand or being done by a very superficial methodology called scraping of websites. Let's put some more intelligence into ranking. How can we rank the websites not just on what they say they are, which is scraping, but let's figure out if we can get some data and information from the metadata, which is how many websites are pointing to that website or how many websites this website is pointing to. That's metadata.
So the innovation was
$3 trillion company out of an idea.
Right.
That is the way, that comes from critical thinking. And if we can teach critical thinking, there is no dearth of intellectual capital in India. But if you channel that intellectual capital into making 2 + 2 = 5, this thing, that thing, put a little bit here, a little bit there, and buy from X, sell to Y, that's a trader mentality. You cannot make progress that way. True progress and if we have to become an IP-based economy, like we discussed earlier, we've got to encourage critical thinking.
Right. Guys, अगर ये सुन के आपको भी लगा वाओ, मैं भी ऐसे सोचना चाहता हूँ, मैं सीखना चाहता हूँ ऐसे कैसे सोचते हैं, तो क्या करना है? सब्सक्राइब का बटन, सब्सक्राइब.